Hi guys, you are watching Ed. My name is BJ Longwe and this is Ed Hour. 2013 contained many amazing events, but one that sticks out is a journey by helium balloon that took place in South Africa. Strapped into a harness under some 200 helium balloons, Matt Silver-Valance, a South African company manager and adventurer, floated up from Robben Island.
Ultimately, the risks that we're taking here, it's all very controlled, and the risks compared to what Nelson Mandela took are tiny.
The flight, called cluster ballooning, got a boost in popular culture with a 2009 computer-animated movie called Up, featuring an elderly man who ties lots of balloons to his house and flies off with a young stowaway on board. The goal of the challenge was to raise $1 million for the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. On the line, we have Matt Silver-Valance, Balloon Extraordinaire. Welcome to Channel Ed, Matt. How are you doing?
Really good, really good. Thank you very much.
Where did the actual idea come from, the balloon idea?
The balloon idea came from my best friend and I one night watching TV and seeing astronauts bounce around the moon. And we wondered if it was possible to create weightlessness on Earth. So we started thinking about tying ourselves to more and more balloons, and eventually, as the conversation goes, after a couple of glasses of wine, Stephen, my best friend, literally said, imagine being able to jump from Robben Island to the mainland, floating with balloons, and that's where the idea came from.
I would be scared out of my mind. How did you prepare yourself for this task?
I was the guy that hung on the balloons, but there were more than 100 people involved in the whole project, from aeronautical engineers, a guy called Mike Howard, who's done this kind of cluster ballooning before. He's in fact got 3 Guinness Book of Records. Keith Pinker's Grill, a guy that's aviated and flown around Cape Town a lot, and a whole lot of experts in climatology, weather patterns, and safety and sea rescue. So lots of people got involved.
So just explain to us exactly what happened on that day.
So on that day, a water landing's never been attempted before, so we struggled a little bit to get equilibrium. And my team on the ground let me go, thinking that we had achieved exactly the right equilibrium, but we hadn't, which meant that I rose very quickly. At one point, I was rising at 10 meters per second, which is the same speed that Bolt runs his 100 meters. So that was a bit interesting.
Yeah.
So within a couple of minutes, I was at the height of Table Mountain, and that was that was getting quite scary.
Yeah.
But I leveled off around there, and then managed my height towards towards the coastline.
Oh, okay. So do you have any plans to do something similar in the future? Or was that your last bit to say, I'm never doing this again, never?
Well, our goal is always to replicate Mr. Mandela's famous statement that it always seems impossible until it is done. We've in fact got 3 projects that we're planning. Again, different teams of experts are getting involved. I can only tell you about one of them at the moment, but that is to walk from Robben Island to the mainland.
To walk? How would you do that?
Underwater.
Do you have scuba tanks with you, or
we're
going to breathe underwater from Robben Island all the way to?
So it's a 7.5 kilometer walk, and we're designing a special vessel so that it's human powered, and in fact there are 3 of us, possibly 4 of us that are planning to do this mission. I can't yet tell you who the other people are involved in the project, but at the moment we're in touch with experts from around the world in terms of designing special equipment to allow us to walk in a. I guess the easiest way is imagine a little UFO, the old school UFO vessels, and we plan to walk underwater and special equipment for us to breathe.
I see that you didn't want
So,
to do this one alone. You decided to bring some friends along.
yeah, it's funny. People, there seem to be other crazy people in the world that seem to want to do this, and ultimately the cause will always be to raise funds for pediatric care in South Africa, like the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital.
All right. Now, speaking of, you're just talking about some quotes from Nelson Mandela as well, and you're actually doing this for Mandela. What tips would you like to give people who want to carry out Nelson Mandela's legacy?
Well, a friend of mine said it very well. I'm not sure of the exact quote, but he reflected on Mr. Mandela talking about ordinary people can do extraordinary things. So I think everybody can make a contribution. It doesn't need to be big or small, or it's just keeping his legacy in mind and doing a little bit each day to echo what he's achieved for us all.
Okay. All right. Well, Matt, thank you very much. And I wish you the best of luck on your next expedition underwater. And I hope to be there as well, to make sure that I see how this is done. I'd like to do it myself, follow in your footsteps.
Great.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
We've got another one online. Great pleasure talking to you.
All right. Thank you for joining us today on Channel Ed. And now I can say it's up and away for 2014. Stay tuned for more knowledge and inspiration. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Ed318, and Twitter at 318Ed.